Make the right hire. Don't be the Cardinals of the past.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K. Oh, yeah. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today for free by downloading that Circle K app. I am a person that does not learn from their mistakes very well. I have hurt myself before dancing and goofing around with my daughter. And last night I went and we went to see a family friend's dance competition. And afterwards, they're 9-year-olds. They're goofing around. I decided, you know what, I'm going to try some of my dance moves out there. And I hurt my knee. Didn't learn any better. Should have known better. I'm 42. I shouldn't be dancing around with 9-year-olds at a Center for the Arts. I did it anyways. I hope the Cardinals aren't as dumb as me, because they need to learn from the mistakes of their past. You want to get in the Wayback Machine with me? Join me in 2012, a simpler time when the Cardinals fired Ken Whisenhunt and then heavily pursued Andy Reid. They didn't get him. They didn't close the deal. Money, whatever the case may be. We know how that worked out. We've seen what Andy Reid has accomplished in Kansas City with a guy that the Cardinals actually had an opportunity to draft, mind you. But he's had great success. No. He had great success.
Nope.
No Borat this morning with the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know what? Ken Whisenhunt wasn't great. And then you got Bruce Arians, who came in and got the job done for a while. You got lucky that you got a guy that had an immense amount of experience and it panned out. But you didn't pay the premium to get the proven head coach. Follow me back, a little less further back in time, 2023. Time's not that much better than now, but they had just moved on from Steve Wilkes. They were looking for a head coach, and Sean Payton was there for the taking. A guy who had connections to the Cardinals franchise, actually was a ball boy for the team back in their St. Louis days. Had a desire to be here from what it sounded like. Had a long, lengthy interview with the front office and with Michael Bidwell. And the Cardinals decided not to spend the money, which turned out to be $18 million, or the draft capital that had to go to the Saints to get him. They instead went with Jonathan Gannon at that point. Anything compute here? Do we see the path? And that's just the recent history. That's not even going further back where this has repeated itself. The Cardinals have gone with three. Count them three. Steve Wilkes, Cliff Kingsbury, Jonathan Gannon. First-time head coaches. Guys without experience. Guys that were cheap. Staffs that were cheap to hire. But they didn't make the big commitment when they had the opportunity to. Some would argue, when you look at what Sean Payton's done with the Broncos, that you could be sitting there rather than in the mess that you find yourself in right now if you just paid the premium. We talked about it on the program this week. When you're a bad franchise, you have to pay a tax to be able to get quality. And you got to be prepared to do that again right now. There's one name on that list that fits the criteria, that fits exactly what this Cardinals franchise needs. His name is John Harbaugh, a guy that nobody was quite sure would be on the market, a guy who is not committed to any particular interviews yet, but a guy that you need on your sideline. Not just want, you need. Because you know why? He's a proven winner. Let's take a look at it. Since 2008, when he went to Baltimore, he's only had 3 losing seasons. 3. That's insane since 2008. I can't even count the number of losing seasons the Cardinals have had. I can't count in general. Public education, sorry. But he's also had 12 playoff appearances. 12. Won a Super Bowl. Those 12 playoff appearances in that same time, Cardinals have made the playoffs 5 times since 2008. Okay, that's one of the better runs we've seen the Cardinals make, but wrap your head around this. I told you that Harbaugh has had 12 playoff appearances since 2008. The Arizona Cardinals / St. Louis Cardinals / Phoenix Cardinals / Chicago Cardinals have had 11 total playoff appearances in the history of the franchise. John Harbaugh as a head coach has more playoff appearances than your entire franchise history. Do you think that might be worth $20 million a year? Think that might be worth paying a premium on whatever coordinators he wants? Yeah, I would say so. Plus, he won a Super Bowl with Joe freaking Flacco.
Hey now.
Mr. Elite Joe
Yes.
Flacco. Mr. Game Manager Joe Flacco. I want John Harbaugh, and I know people are pessimistic about the chance, right? I don't care. You cannot go out there and act like I did in high school and middle school and be afraid to ask out somebody that you're interested in. Yeah, sure, you might get rejected, but that's part of it. You have to put yourself out there, and if John Harbaugh rejects you, so be it. So be it at that point. You can't sit there and be afraid that because you're not the prettiest girl at the dance that you can't ask somebody. That's not why I didn't ask people, but you know what I mean. Like, why not just try to get an interview with him? Sure, your job opening's probably about middle of the pack right now, but the top job was the job that John just left from. I don't think Miami's that much better of a situation. I think you can make the argument that the Giants who are interested in him aren't that much better of a situation. You can't go with one of these unproven assistants. You just can't. We've suffered through that. How do you sell that to the fan base if you go with one of these assistants who has done absolutely nothing to prove themselves worthy of a head coaching job? Do we really want another Jonathan Gannon? Another Cliff Kingsbury? No, you don't. You need to find the guy with the best experience. And that's Harbaugh to me. I don't think there's anybody else on the market that is even close to Harbaugh. You're going to hear people mention Mike McCarthy, and that's not a name that intrigues me. McDaniel from Miami, okay, sure. If John Harbaugh says no, says, you know what, I'm not the guy for this. Okay, I call McDaniel. Maybe Saleh is a guy from the 49ers and that defense that you go, all right, he knows the division. I can sell this. I can feel all right about this. But the one guy that comes in on day one, has instant credibility, and changes everything about your organization, its perception, and the culture in the building on day one is John frickin' Harbaugh. So are you willing to do what it's going to take? Are you going to recommit the sins of the past? Missing out on Andy Reid, missing out on Sean Payton, because we just don't feel like we want to spend, or we just aren't sure. No. John Harbaugh is as close to a guarantee as you are ever going to get as a head coach. So are you committed to winning? Do you want to change the culture? You better figure it out, because I don't care about your bottom line. And neither does any other fan. Because in the NFL, you make plenty of damn money when it comes to your team. And guess what makes you make more money in the NFL? Winning. Having fans in your stands. Making the playoffs and the additional revenue that comes with it. You have to spend money to make money. So you're ready to do it, Michael Bidwell? Because John Harbaugh is your guy. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. Welcome in the mustache behind the Mac. Somebody that took in the Fiesta Bowl in all its glory last night. It's Shane Diefenbach. Shane, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Espo. How are you?
I'd be a hell of a lot better if I hear that John Harbaugh is coming in for an interview.
Yeah. I mean, we saw the report a couple of days ago where it said he's going to take at least a week
Good for him.
To decide what he wants to do.
Taking his daughter back to law school, I believe, is what's happening.
Is it?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I think we just wait to see how this whole thing plays out. Here's the weird situation, though. Do you want the Cardinals to rush into this?
Yes, if it's John Harbaugh,
well,
please.
Yeah, of course. But with the coaching search in general, like, do you want them to rush into it, or do you want them to take their time like they did last year? Or not last year, 3 years ago. Like,
no, I don't want to be the last one standing and let the musical chairs and all the music end, and then you're like, oh, we're left with Timu Jonathan Gannon from the Packers, the same guy
nasty.
that you Xeroxed, but there's a dated reference.
Yeah.
That you took a picture of with a smeared cell phone camera. Like I do not need Jonathan Gannon part 2.
Yeah.
I need somebody with gravitas, with a name, with the proven record. McDaniels is close. He's not John Harbaugh. He's not a given.
Mike McDaniel would be. That's a gamble, and I don't think you want to gamble. Do you? Like, I don't know. Do you want to try to go with something safe? Like, would you rather guarantee 9-8 every year, or the possibility of
you know what?
Yeah.
I'd give a kidney for 9-8 on the regular in this town.
I mean, I don't know.
It'd be your kidney, not mine, but I'd give a kidney.
Espo.
Yeah.
Espo.
Aren't you willing to put it all on the line to make things better here, Shane?
Not my kidney.
Sacrifice, all right?
If I get money with it, then sure.
Sure, we'll get you a little cash for it as well.
Chat, how much was my kidney worth?
Not a lot. Don't answer that. I'm sure.
Hey Google, how much is my kidney worth?
I'm sure we get banned on YouTube if we start asking how much can we sell kidneys for. Hello,
hey Siri,
says,
what's my kidney going for?
Hello said Espo already sold his soul. That's true, and I did not get very good return.
No, you got stiffed.
I mean, it was dented and horribly.
It was gently used.
No, not gently. That bad boy got banged around a lot. Not gently used at all. Buddha says, I like your previous option. I would have gone with the coach from the Replacements.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. There, who farted 4,200 says $10 for that kidney. So
that's it.
We got that going for us. You want $10? We got that for you.
I take really good care of my kidneys.
Not your liver, from what I've heard, though. At least not last night. So.
Hey, I was a good boy.
You were. You had a good time.
I was a good boy. I behaved in the end of the game, or at the end of the game. I was happy eating my cinnamon roasted almonds.
Oh, those are the best.
They asked what size I want, and I said, "Do you have a large?" And they did.
Oh, nice. Did you see a quarterback that the Cardinals could use out there? No.
Trinidad Chambliss is going to be 30 when he takes the NFL field.
Okay.
So
Chris Winkie of the new era.
And I liked what I saw on the sidelines. There were a couple really good signal callers.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
So
good. Is there a third string assistant coach or somebody from the medical staff on either team that they could interview for the head coaching position?
No, but you know what's going to be awesome? Once this next coaching, whoever they hire, once this thing blows up in their face again, they'll have a really high draft pick to be able to select Malachi Toney when he's entering his name into the draft in 2.5 years.
Fantastic.
That kid is ridiculous.
I can't wait for 3 more years of wandering the desert. Speaking of wandering the desert, we found Johnny Venerable. He's going to join me next after halftime on Southwest Bias. It's Phoenix Raceway. If you have not been out there, you are missing out. And this spring, NASCAR and NTT IndyCar are together at last. It's never happened before at Phoenix Raceway, but they've got one jam-packed weekend coming up for you March 5th through the 8th out there at Phoenix Raceway. It is one of my favorite venues in all of Arizona sports. It is beautiful, it is fun, and it is fantastic. So why would you not head out there? And the best part is you get the best access in motorsports. You're going to get inside the track. You're going to walk the garages. You're going to meet the drivers. And they even have a pre-game concert. No sport brings you closer when you're in the Desert Diamond infield experience. It is fantastic. Plus, you get to watch Kyle Larson return to where he won the NASCAR championship last year. So secure your seats now at the link in our description and have a hell of a time March 5th through 8th. And the husband and wife law team. Have you been in a serious accident, had a serious injury, or suffered a wrongful death? You gotta have a lawyer that's gonna have your best interest in mind. And you gotta do your research. I wish I had when I was in an accident, because I would have found Mark and Alexis Breyer, the husband and wife law team. And you wanna be able to get in touch with your lawyer. That is one of the most frustrating parts when you're going through a legal issue, especially an accident. How can I get in touch with my lawyer? They guarantee that you'll be able to get in touch with your lawyer. Plus, they also want to make sure that you take home more than they're going to take home, because they want to make sure that everything that is going on with you and your needs are addressed in your case. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them PHNX sent you. Welcome back for the second half. Hope you enjoyed that musical act that we listened to here in studio just then. Big shout out to the bias in the chat. Nashty, hello, Connor, James, Jacob, everybody here along for the ride. Hit that like button. Also become a member of the Supporters Club today. Just $5. You're going to unlock great emojis, exclusive content, and so much more. So become a part of it. I want to look at Connor's comment here real quick. He was saying Britton Golden. Actually, there was another one up here. Britton Golden once said, I feel like I got a monkey with symbols in my head. That's what it feels like when it's going to be hard to find a coach. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's what it feels like sometimes to be a Cardinals fan.
I just feel like that all the time.
Do you? Well, I mean, I am walking around in your ear constantly, so that's part of it. Connor also says, who you got a better chance of playing Miami? Who you think's got a better chance of playing Miami, Indiana or Oregon? I'm going to go Indiana. I think Indiana is a team that is going to make this happen. I'm looking forward to our new football overlords being from the Hoosier State.
No, Dino Chicken Nugget train loving Linsanity run ends today.
All right.
Fernando Mendoza, it's time to answer the bell.
Well, we will see. And he could be the future Cardinals quarterback.
Dude, if I have to listen to his press conferences here, I'm going to lose my mind.
We just got rid of Jonathan Gannon, and now we're going to have to listen to that. Nashy, what's up, my friend? Yes, Hayden Fox is the GOAT, and we did put him on our fictitious coaching board. A man that's not fictitious, but some people wish he was. It's Johnny Venerable. Johnny, how are you, my friend? Well, you are muted currently, so I can't hear you, but let's see if we can get that fixed. There we go, Johnny. What's up, my man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm good, man. I'll be a lot better if we start hearing some more interesting names in this coaching search, though. I mean, there's, Saleh does a little bit for me, Kubiak maybe, but I need to go big game hunting. I need Harbaugh. I need McDaniel. I need somebody that proves just how far this Cardinals team can change their perspective and the perception and their culture. Like if I'm the Cardinals, I write a blank check to Harbaugh for him and his staff, and I say, you know what? I screwed up with Andy Reid back in the day. I screwed up with Sean Payton. I am not making the same mistakes. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's conventional wisdom says you do that. The problem is, I think the Giants are doing that already, and they have history of Super Bowls, and they've got a what they believe is a franchise quarterback in a easier division. Although I don't think that that's a big issue for somebody like John Harbaugh. I just the further we get along in this process, and we could be an announcement of an interview next week with Harbaugh for me pivoting off of this stance. I feel like did Michael Bidwell react quickly to the Jonathan Gannon move and then find himself in a coaching search that maybe he thought there'd only be a handful of openings. Now there's 8, and there could be as many as 10 after this weekend if Matt LaFleur and Sean McDermott flame out. And again, I don't want to sit here and be like, well, the Cardinal job isn't worth taking. I think it is. You live on a beautiful side of the country. This team has a new facility that you would likely see as a head coach in 2027. They've got a private jet. They have a lot of positives, but what's dragging them down right now is the perception of their owner, the perception of, that they can't get it right in a loaded division. And of course, the perception of, the quarterback situation. I am of the mindset right now that there are multiple coaches that would upgrade this team dramatically, that they would take the job. And as much as like Michael Bidwell wants to feel like you can bring people in and you can, have them kind of be excited about the 30, one of 32 openings in the NFL. I just feel like you have to do the courting, whether it's a Harbaugh or a Saleh or a Kubiak or people I like, McCarthy or Mike McDaniel. You have to be humble enough to say, like, this is a two-way interview. We get it. Yeah. You're feeling this out. You're going to have other options. I don't know if that's what they're doing, though. These lists of candidates, we're going to talk about them, are very underwhelming outside of the 2 names we've mentioned.
No, I'm a believer that you have to pay the piss poor franchise tax. I mean, that's what it comes down to when you're in these situations. You got to pay more than anybody if you want a good coach, because you got to convince them that you're actually dedicated to turning it around. I mean, I know Jim had connections to the Chargers, but some would argue that franchise wasn't all that different from the Cardinals in terms of perception, spending, all those things. And that happened. And I think in part because of the money they were willing to spend and the trust that they were willing to put in spending on a staff as well. But I think history showed us that's likely the path we're not going to go down. So let's take a look at the list of interviews that have been at least reported so far. Raheem Morris, Vance Joseph, Anthony Weaver, Robert Saleh, Clint Kubiak, Thomas Brown, Matt Nagy. What is there anybody there that has any juice to you, that interests you? I mean, I'm out on Timu Jonathan Gannon up in Green Bay. I'll tell you that much.
Definitely. Yeah, no doubt. Jonathan Gannon, whether people want to hear this or not, had a really good resume, and that was considered a get for the Cardinals because Gannon was well thought of in coaching circles and was poised to be a head coach, and I think could be a head coach eventually. But here's what I will say. There are 8 names on the list. Only 2 of them would get Cardinal fans excited, and that's not me guessing or speculating. That's a fact. You go on Twitter, you go on social media. We had it confirmed on our show, a viewer of our show, Brian, who is a diehard and a member here, part of our community. The Cardinals called him to try to get him to court back season tickets, and they asked him, who do you want to see as the next head coach? Who do you think would make a good head coach that would get you excited about buying season tickets? That's the kind of desperation I'm all about. I'm about that. So if you're going off of that, Vance Joseph is a good man. He's a good DC. I think Vance Joseph, maybe in the right circumstance, could succeed. Vance Joseph would fail here. And, we talked about it. Bo and I did, and it's a sensitive subject. I don't know how deep we want to go in on this show. You gave Steve Wilkes 1 year, a coach of color. You fired him. The optics were bad. You got sued by the NFL. The NFL, was sued by Steve Wilkes because of it. Then you gave Cliff Kingsbury and you gave Jonathan Gannon multiple years. Jonathan Gannon won 15 games in 3 years. If Vance Joseph comes in here and doesn't perform and you fire him after a year, the optics of that would look horrible. And I think
you couldn't do it.
No. And with all due respect to Vance Joseph in the NFC West, it's not going to work, at least not with a roster like the Cardinals. It's beyond my comprehension. And it's frustrating because I love Cardinal fans. But sometimes it's like, when you bring up a guy like Mike McCarthy, who has a winning record and been to the playoffs twice in 4 years, and people are like, he's a beta, or you bring up Mike McCarthy and people are like, he's terrible. He has 11 winning seasons in 18 years. He won 7 games with Cooper Rush. Do people not understand like what terrible is? Terrible is every Sunday game that we had to endure, with all due respect to JG, over the last 3 years. The post game after post game that we did, teams pulling starters in the third quarter. That's where the Cardinals are. If you're a team like the Ravens, you can take a Jesse Minter and you can elevate him into your culture. And you can say, we're going to bring him up because of who we are as a franchise. The Cardinals can't afford to do that. They tried to do that with Gannon. It didn't work. Give them credit for trying. You need a ready-made coach, and you can call him a retread or not, that's won games in this league. And everybody on that list, save for Robert Saleh, I just think is a huge disappointment, in terms of a retread.
Johnny, if we're sitting here and saying somebody isn't good enough for the Cardinals in terms of guys with success, that's insane to me. That's like the 40-year-old nerd in his basement saying, well, I wouldn't date her. Well, maybe you should consider it. Anybody that would say yes, that is of quality, maybe you should consider it. Like, I don't understand how anybody can look down their nose at somebody that's had head coaching success in the NFL outside of some kind of scandal and say, nope, Cardinals are too good for that.
Yeah, they're not too good for it. And if you bring Mike McDaniel in and he doesn't like fit your vibe, that's a good thing. Your vibe's not working. Your culture's not working. People that you surround yourself with are consistently getting you, fair or not, 32nd NFLPA grades and now a top 3 draft pick. Your instincts are wrong. It's like George Costanza and Seinfeld. It's like your instincts should be the opposite of what you're doing. And again, like, if I'm Monty Ossenford, who I think is smart and competent, and I liked the Gannon hire with him, Monty Ossenford, I am imploring you, if you hire the large majority of this list so far, you will be fired. There's no doubt in my mind. You will be fired with that coach. And unlike head coaches, GMs don't get a second shot. You need to ace this hire. You need to convince Michael Bidwell that you cannot go safe and conventional.
Well, how do you even, if some of these names are your finalists and there's not a big name, how does Michael Bidwell sit there and not go, maybe you shouldn't be in this seat right now? Like, that's just crazy to me.
My only hope is that these are not finalists. These are preliminary interviews during the first week. I went back and looked at the 2023 group. We had it sourced before anybody on our show by Benjamin Albright that Gannon was going to get an interview, and then they flubbed up the timing, and it had gone like 2 or 3 weeks had gone by, and they reportedly hadn't talked to Gannon, and then that's what got him in trouble. But the first couple of interviews after they hired Ossenford, they were not serious contenders for jobs. So my hope is that, like Anthony Weaver, they're not going to hire him as their head coach. I think Anthony Weaver and probably Raheem Morris are being interviewed as future defensive coordinators for somebody like Clint Kubiak. Yes, sign me up for that. I think Matt Nagy, unfortunately, would be looked at as a future OC with a high-level defensive head coach. I think Vance Joseph is a real candidate, and I think that's what scares Cardinal fans is everybody's talking to him. I think Vance Joseph is like a warm blanket for this franchise. Like, oh, we know him, we like him. He won a couple interim games for Cliff during the COVID season. I think overwhelmingly the fan base would reject that. And I like Vance. I've met Vance. We've talked to him. I wouldn't want Vance to go through that. I think Vance needs to continue to, grow his craft with the Broncos and wait for a different opportunity. He's linked to a bunch of jobs, but I only think that the Raiders and the Cardinals would be serious considerations. Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenford have to understand the optics of this move, and this list is, I put it on Twitter, it's a D+ list so far.
Do Saleh and Kubiak get any reaction from you, or do you think that's just the fan base will just be like, you know what, that's an okay move?
I think the fan base would love either move, and I do think Espo, the Cardinals would like to hire either individual. Like I believe that in my heart of hearts. I don't know if Clint Kubiak will take this job given the options that are going to be available, and he'll have more options than Saleh. And then I wonder if there's a part of Robert Saleh after working with Woody Johnson and being fired midseason that would come here with this franchise. I think we're going to get, my prediction for this is I think we'll get a couple more names, hopefully ones that we like. And I think we're going to fast forward in about a week or so. I think Robert Saleh may or may not get another job, and it's going to come down to the Cardinals, and he's going to have to make a decision. Do I go back to San Francisco where John Lynch is like, we're going to pay him so much to stay, he's going to be choosy, or is he going to take the Cardinals job? And are the Cardinals going to want to go through that and the potential public shaming of this guy didn't want us and he's going to go back to a coordinator job? Those are real things that I know that they are thinking about. That's when you just have to say, hey, Robert, you're going to have personnel say, you're going to help with quarterback, you're going to get a big raise compared to what you were making with the Jets. We're going to hire a high-end OC for you, and you're going to have a 5-year contract. I think that would get it done. But at the end of the day, like, are they willing to have that kind of humility after what just happened? I would hope so after 3 wins.
Has there ever been a head coach that looks more like the owner's name than Robert Saleh and Woody Johnson? I mean, anyways, bad joke. But, I don't want to see this team shy away from interviewing somebody because they might deny him. Like, that's ridiculous to me.
I think Saleh's going to take the interview. I do. Okay, but will he take a second, and will he be part of like the advancements in the second round? I think he's going to put on a good performance. I hope they get blown out against Philadelphia, and I hope that kind of cools his market. And then there are the Cardinals that would have the foresight to say, come in. But I think Kubiak and Saleh will take initial interviews. It's about that next phase.
So what I'm hearing from you, based on some of what you heard, is every fan that has season tickets needs to call up their rep right now and say, these are the only names that we're going to accept. And that John Harbaugh is at the top of our list as fans, and maybe put that financial pressure on her.
Yes. Don't say Vance Joseph. Don't say any of these other names. I don't have to tell people that. They get it. The Cardinal fans understand the assignment. Just real quick, because it's been a long week. And Jonathan Gannon was good to this show and good to this company. And so we wish the best for JG. But I'm going to tell, this is a message for Cardinals ownership, because we know you watch this network. If you fire Jonathan Gannon and turn around and hire one of these other guys, you should have just kept Jonathan Gannon. You should have moved forward with Jonathan Gannon and reloaded his staff, because you're going to have about 2 weeks of goodwill, and then it's going to be gone. So don't make that mistake. Don't fire him just for the PR and the marketing optics.
I'm not even sure you get 2 weeks based off of the list we've seen so far. He is Johnny Venerable. You can find him over on PHNX Cardinals at 4:30 today. You can follow him on Twitter.
You can also find him at Chili's.
You can find him at Chili's in Maricopa. He still makes the drive down there just because he likes the company.
Oh, they would never get a Chili's. They don't deserve one. We always push for it when we live there, and they never could get it done.
Johnny, big city Johnny Venerable now. Johnny, thanks so much for taking the time.
See you, fellas.
That is another edition of Southwest Bias in the books. A big thank you to the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, a man that I love when he puts on the headset and coaches this program, because we go to new heights every time. You can follow him at Shane Dief. You can follow the program at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, just hire the guy that knows how to win already. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.